Did that shot look familiar? Slicing is the #1 shot amongst pretty much every amateur golfer, sometimes the better players too. And today I want to try and run through some potential fixes for you to help you hit it straighter. Normally the #1 reason will be the grip, which for a lot of people can be quite painful to try and address and put right. The second reason will be the outlook of that person or their perception or conception as to how they're trying to hit the ball. So let's have a look. Let's just for the moment go along with the fact that the person who's slicing the ball is making a pretty good grip or a perfect grip. They're actually standing to the ball very competently. So most slicers will come from the outside across the ball. It's a very weak shot. You don't get a lot of power with that, certainly not in relation to a correct path and a correct action. It's a weaker hit, and normally the club will come from the outside to the inside, and that's the #1 reason golfers slice. We could argue a quick fix to that would be to try to get the golfer to swing more from the inside to the outside. The problem with this is that whilst the golfer sort of gets the idea of coming from the inside rather than the outside, they then still have the club or the club face open to the path they're swinging on. So now it's even worse because the ball starts right, because their path's from the in to a little bit out. So the ball starts right, and because their club is still open, it then slices even further to the right, which is about as far right as you can go. So the key here is not to think so much in to out. It's a little bit in to square to a little bit in. Or maybe perfection would be a little from the inside to a little bit to the outside. But what I wouldn't recommend is people really try to overdo this, because you can still have the club open trying to swing in to out. So what I would advise here is, if you're having a problem slicing, is to try to feel like you definitely are coming a little bit more on the inside path on the backswing. Not in here, it's not violently inside. It's gradually letting the club come in, certainly not getting too steep. But try to get it a little bit more on the inside. And then what I want, which is probably contrary to many people's philosophies, is I want the golfer to try to release the club sooner during the downswing. And I don't mean sort of waiting till you get here, like a foot from the ball. I mean much, much sooner. I want that release much earlier in the downswing. So the idea being that you would come, I'm exaggerating this now, but you would come from the inside to the outside with a release. And what happens is the club will want to turn more and close in a little bit more, so you should be able to hit the ball to the right and it draw back into the middle of the fairway. So there's no real science to this. This isn't some magical technique. It's trying to almost just change your outlook as to how you're going to go about hitting the ball. And what you see when you stand on the tee, you think, yeah, I'm aiming down the right quarter of the fairway and it's going to come back because I'm coming a little from the inside, I'm hitting a little bit out, but most importantly with that, I'm going to try and release the club. I'm going to let that club head, try to get the club head past me. Now, that might not work for everybody, but it should work for the vast majority of people, because this is something that maybe a better player, professional maybe, they get a little bit too far on the inside and then they use their hands a little bit more, and then they tend to snap hook it, or they know they're going to do that and they hold on to it and they hit it off to the right. But if you go into the other extreme of someone that is really struggling with slicing, then this should be a big help to you. But you need to practice it. It's very difficult just to walk up and do it first shot. But the idea being that we feel like we're getting a little bit more inside. It's, as I say, it's not ridiculously in, but we're letting it sweep in a little bit more here. And then, because we've come in, we can swing out. If we were to go out, I can't swing out there when I come through. I'm going to be coming in here down on my left foot, which is another thing a lot of the slicers do, is that they will tend to be coming in this way, that way, as they go through. And I want to see more of this way. So as you come in through, you can release sort of up and over the shot rather than this way. So give that a try. As I say, it might not work for everyone, but I'm hoping that makes enough sense that you'll want to go and try that. But give it 100 balls. You know, don't just give up after 4 or 5, and just stand on the tee at the range, aim straight, but try to hit it a little bit to the right. So you're going to push it, but because you're releasing the club, it should impart draw spin, which will bring the ball back, which is a different picture to the one that maybe you're used to. Oh, I'm going to aim more left because I'm going to slice it. Well, you're just encouraging more slice. So you've got to fight fire with fire. But as I say, give it a try. Let me know what happens when you go and practice. And as ever, like, subscribe, share, all of that stuff. And until next time, thank you very much.